It's the Shanley Deacons taking on the Davies Eagles, and it's going on right now, folks. Jed Thomas here alongside Emmett Kenny. My apologies, as due to some technical difficulties, we are joining this game in progress. Don't worry, though, you've only missed about 2 minutes and 20 seconds as the clock reads 37:38. That clock on the bottom of your screen is not right at the moment. We'll try to sort that out, but yes, we have got 37 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this first half. For what you've missed, folks, not much. Again, just the first 2 minutes here. Shanley was putting on some pretty good pressure here, Emmett, against these Davies Eagles. To give you a little context for the game, basically it's like this. Shanley's got to win tonight if they want to keep their hopes of making the state tournament alive. Right now the Deacons are 5th in the EDC. On the outside looking in, they're going to need some help from South. South's got to drop a game here. Shanley's got to win their next 2, and that includes this game. So an uphill battle starts tonight on the quest for state. How about that, Emmett?
Yeah, Jed, this is a very important game for the Deacons here. Sitting at 5th in the EDC right now, trying to sneak into that 4th playoff spot. And they do need some help from South here. They're going to make it in the state, but they just got to focus on themselves here. They got to focus on getting a win against this very good Eagles team, and that'll surely be a challenge tonight.
Absolutely. They just got to try and do their part and hope that South does theirs by dropping one of these next 2 games, as that big-time kick from Hoff is going to roll out of bounds. Looks like it was out off of an Eagle. We'll see the call here, though. It is senior night here at Cichy Stadium, folks, so there's a lot of pressure on these gentlemen on the field here tonight. It's this last home game for the seniors. Again, it's got big state implications. Shanley's trying to knock off the #1 team in the East right now, a Davies team that has only 1 loss on the season. That is quite a tall order.
Yeah, Jed, obviously these seniors are feeling a lot of pressure. Their last game on this field, also a very big game, may have some impact in their chances of getting to state. So they're certainly going to have to play their part here, and the seniors are going to have to step up tonight.
All right, well, let's see what they can do as Luke Noah chips that one into Joe Mickelson, the senior to the senior. Can't quite hook up with Stitch there. Stitch able to get to it, though, and give it off to Noah Lance. Noah Lance on the far side, going to check that one back, and then the ball's just going to be fired down into Davies territory, where Luke Noah found it, but only momentarily, as it's now popped up in the air by Nunez. Loose ball coming along the near side. It is picked up by Biminyamana, and down the field it goes until it's intercepted by Jay Stu. Jay Stu trying to get up to Nellermo that time. Couldn't hook up with him. Niemer has it now. Niemer went back to Biminyamana, who goes right back to Niemer. Biminyamana over to Haldis. Now to Niemer in the middle of the field, and he'll send it back. Eagles cycling around here, trying to get some separation and make an entry into the Shanley zone. On the far side, the Eagles putting in work, trying to get around this Shanley midfield. Niemer checks it back on the far side, able to find a man. It was Weimkin. Battle for the ball that time. It'll go out of bounds. The last touch by the Eagles. Noah Lance was putting some pressure on there for Shanley.
Jed, we saw a lot of really pressure here from the Deacons, and it looks like in these last couple minutes, the Eagles have really been possessing heavily. They've been doing a great job of cycling the ball around and just trying to play keep away from the Deacons.
Yeah, in the first 1 or 2 minutes, Shanley had 2 really good scoring opportunities, both involving Luke Noah. They couldn't capitalize on either, but it was a good sign for them. A quick start showed they could compete here, and they're going to have to keep that up throughout the entire night. Can't just be at the very beginning. Mears going for the big-time clear. Couldn't get through Niemer. Able to get through on the second effort, though, and then that ball goes between the legs of Biminyamana. Biminyamana trying to keep it in, but it goes out of bounds, and Joe Mickelson will throw in for Shanley. Mickelson with the quick throw-in down the near sideline. He was trying to hook up with Nellermo. It was intercepted, though, by Ethan Olson, who gives to Haldis in the middle of the field. Haldis with a little move trying to get around Reinholtz. He could not, so he gave it off over to Adams. Adams going back to Haldis. Haldis back over to Biminyamana on the near side. Mickelson applying pressure over to Olson now. Olson looking in the middle of the field. He's got a man. It's Adams. Jonas Adams now at the 30-yard line, trying to check it down to a man inside. Couldn't quite get there. Luke Noah broke it up, and then the shot goes well wide. It'll be Deacon ball.
We've seen some clever footwork so far, Jed, from the sophomore Jonas Adams, one of the most skilled players on this Eagles team as only a sophomore. He'll certainly be a big part of the game tonight.
Yeah, definitely, Emmett. Like you said, he's got some real nice moves, a lot of tricks up his sleeves, good footwork. Another name to watch is definitely going to be Casey Haldis. He is a huge offensive threat for this Davies team. The senior finds that scoreboard more often than not. So here's Adams on the far side. Lance applying pressure. Adams gives off over to Weimkin. Weimkin centering feed off the head of Haldis, but it'll be easily covered by Hoff. Cam Hoff hasn't had too many tests early here. Been able to make a couple of easy snags, though. Sending it downfield that time. The intended target was Nellermo. Luke Noah trying to give it back to Nellermo, and then he comes in to intercept a clearing attempt by the Eagles. Luke Noah moving in on the near side. Makes one move, trying to get it over to Nellermo. Could not, though. Mickelson tried to keep it in the zone, but he couldn't. Now here come the Eagles back the other way. Olsen has it. Olsen trying to go back to Baminyamana. Baminyamana with speed. Centering feed broken up by Mears, and it'll be covered by Hoff. Nice defensive recovery for Shanley.
Yeah, we saw some nice intercepting play there from Luke Noah, trying to pick out Kai Nellermo at the top of the box with some good defense there by the Eagles, stopping the Deacon attack.
And with a strong wind at his back, Cam Hoff sends that thing booming downfield off the head of Luke Noah, but then it will roll out of bounds. Deacons trying to regain some of that pressure they had to start off, as that ball will go out of bounds on the throw-in. Turning it right back over to Shanley now. And here is Joe Mickelson now throwing it in. Goes off the head of Luke Noah. Noah trying to play it off of a high pop. And now Olsen will just send it. Trying to get a clear. Couldn't quite get it, though. Kyle Stitch headed it back into the zone. And then a nice clear from Thome to the far side. Adams making moves over there. He was able to get it into Niemer. Niemer now surveys. Has a man in the middle. Olsen with it, trying to go back to Adams. A man goes down. It looked like Haldis got tripped up there. Haldis is down and getting up slowly, and then that ball goes out of bounds.
Looked like that could have been an opportunity there for the Eagles, but it seemed like Haldis and Dietz, I believe it was, just got tangled up and the attack fizzled out.
So here come the Eagles once again, trying to regain some of that momentum. Niemer now has it at the 35. Niemer weaving in and out, trying to get it back over to Adams. He could not. And now here's Luke Noah with it for Shanley. Trying to go over to Stitch. That ball is lost to Adams. Adams with space to work to Niemer now. Eagles have been dominating time of possession here for the last couple minutes, as that ball is somehow kept in bounds, but not for long. It does find its way out. Ali could not quite hold it in. Little over 30 minutes now left to go as Stitch advances this ball. Harrison Thome will chase it down. He's going to see if it'll roll out of bounds, and it does. Smart play by the senior. And Thome will throw into Saar, the goaltender, who sends it upfield. Luke Noah got a leg on it, though. Mickelson trying to close in on the rebound. He could not before it was cleared by Olsen. Baminyamana now on the near side. Couldn't quite reach it. And so Jace Dew will throw in for Shanley. Dew surveys, looking for Nellermo. It's off the head of Olsen. Then off the head of Nunez as well. And then sent out of bounds by Niemer.
Chad, one of the most talented players on this Deacon team is Luke Noah, and we've already seen him all over the field tonight. Looks like he's going to try to make a big impact tonight on his senior night and see if he could grab a goal or two for the Deacons.
Well, Luke Noah, I believe he has 11 goals coming into tonight, which is fairly impressive when you consider he started the year playing defense and had spent the last, well, really the vast majority of his soccer career playing defense, his first 3 years of high school and most of his youth career. So he had to make a position change about midway through this season, and it's worked pretty well for the Deacons. He's certainly provided a spark on offense. Slightly under 30 minutes now. We got 28:53 on the clock.
Substitution under the pitch. Let's welcome for the Eagles, number 6, Eddie Thomas, and number 14, Pablo Perez.
Jed, as we're waiting here, one of the most powerful players on the field tonight for the Eagles is number 3, Ethan Olsen. He has had plenty of goals so far this year from very long distances, many as far as 30 yards out. So the Deacons will surely have to keep on their toes, especially when the Eagles will be with the wind in the second half.
Yeah, Ethan Olsen is another one of those guys who's going to be huge for the Eagle attack. He and Haldis have combined to do a lot of damage this year. And that, just Davies as a whole has been a juggernaut this season. They finished second at state last year, but they brought back a huge part of their core. They're a very senior-heavy team, a lot of experience, and that's why they've only got one loss on the year right now. I think they have an overall record of 12-1-1, which is extremely impressive.
Very impressive season so far for the Eagles. Already have 31 points atop the EDC.
It can be dangerous, though, when you're playing a team like Shanley. The Eagles, certainly a lot left to play for. You want to keep racking up points in the East. You want to keep playing your best soccer, but you're playing a Shanley team that's really in a pretty desperate mode right now. They know that a win is required tonight to make state, and that's certainly going to give a team a lot of fire. So it's always tough when you're playing a team that's backed up into a corner.
Yeah, Jed, I'm sure head coach Ian Costello for the Eagles has been preaching that to his team, that even though they're for sure in state most likely have a #1 seed, they still got to keep the foot on the gas tonight, and I'm sure they would definitely find some joy in ending the season for these Deacons.
Certainly, just cannot lose that fire, as now Andy Thomas has the ball across midfield. Going to hand that one off over to Adams. Adams up to Haldus. He was trying the little no-looker over to Jack Olson. Could not quite hook up with him, though, as Adams has the ball once again. Back to Thomas now, who's going to switch fields all the way across over to Weimkin. Now downfield just in front of Haldus. Couldn't quite get to it. Second effort won't go. Nice box out by Mears. Haldus with the header, though, back to Olson. High into the air. Olson basically passed it to himself with the way that wind was blowing it back. Got a man down now. It was Nunez. No call. And Owen Mears trying to get the clear. Held in, though, just barely by Ethan Olson. Adams now going over to Nunez. Nunez trying to find the seam there and hook up with Olsen. Couldn't get to him, though, and now here's Evan Reinholtz with the takeaway. Reinholtz trying to get out of the zone. He cannot. Nellermo moves in to help, and the Eagles still maintain possession. Harrison Thome with it now for Davies. Looking downfield, he's directing traffic. Nellermo closing in. Thome gets rid of it. Great header by Adams, trying to spring Haldus. Didn't quite take the bounce he wanted, though. Here's Thomas trying to slice through the defense. Thomas had it, only briefly, though. Luke Noah ended up with it on the ground. Ball cleared downfield by the Deacons and then sent right back in by Weimkin. Ethan Olson has it now for Davies. Downfield, no one really home, but it's going to take a bounce off a Shanley defender. Wide open net for Casey Haldus, and he scores. Haldus takes advantage of a mistake by the Deacons in their own end, and he makes them pay.
Yeah, I'm sure Jorgen Dietz is not going to be feeling too good about that one, Jed. Just took an unfortunate bounce off of him. Cam Hoff had to come out to try and make the play. Owen Mears was in pursuit, but we saw the speed of Casey Haldus there on display. He's able to get there first, places it past Cam Hoff, and the Eagles find themselves up 1-0.
Yeah, and we don't have a replay of it, folks, but what happened there, Emma, it was kind of funny the way Dietz dove for that ball. I think he was trying to slow it up so that Haldus maybe couldn't get to it, but it ended up, like you said, taking an unfortunate bounce off his back, actually, so it was a really funny play. It was off of Dietz's back and then right into the feet of Haldus. Hoff was coming out trying to cut off the angle, and yeah, just a very unfortunate bounce for Shanley. Maybe a little lapse in judgment there with the way they played it, but that's not good. You don't want to be in a hole here in this must-win sort of game.
Yeah, Jake, coaches often talk about the first 5 minutes after a goal. For both teams, it's very important. If you're the team that scored it, obviously you don't want to be laid back. You still got to stay aggressive, and the team that conceded is most likely going to want to get back and grab another one. So the Deacons have a great opportunity here these next coming minutes to try and get one back.
And here they go, putting the pressure on. Luke Noah fires just wide. And Noah is fired up after that one. It's a tough break, but it's a good sign, Emmett.
Wow, Luke Noah with some incredible footwork there, able to get around the tall defender Harrison Thome. He had a great opportunity there to score. Looks like he used the outside of his foot, a very tough shot to take, and it almost worked out for him, just went a couple inches wide of the post.
And sometimes you got to wonder, Luke Noah has so many of those close calls in a game, it seems. You got to wonder if he'd be converting more of those, if he had played forward more than just a half a season here. Going from defense to forward is such a major adjustment. You see so many of those close calls, and you just wonder kind of what if.
Yeah, I agree, Jed.
So here the Eagles go, trying to maintain that momentum they've got from the goal. Shanley trying to put the pressure back on the other way. The Eagles have possession as Olsen lets this one roll out of bounds. Play blown dead here. Not quite sure what for. Don't think we were quite set yet. And now here's the throw-in for the Eagles. That ball intended for Olsen doesn't find its way to him. It's going to be picked up, though, by Nunez with Mickelson applying pressure. Nunez able to get that one over to Thomas. Thomas trying to find Niemer on the far side. Didn't connect, though. Thomas able to get back to it. And now playing it forward. It's broken up by Evan Reinholtz. Nunez with it now, working his way around Mickelson. Good defense applied by Mickelson. He has to hand it back over to Olsen, who goes right back to Nunez. Now here's Luke Noah. Noah with some physical play, able to take it away. Luke Noah all alone in the Davies zone, and he fires one just wide.
Another example there of Luke Noah really trying to put this Deacon team on his back. Another great interception there, taking the ball away from Nunez. And had a good goal from about 30 yards with that wind behind his back. Just went wide right of the post.
And Emmett, the one thing he's got to be careful of, and I don't think he's doing this right now, but going forward, he's just got to be careful not to try and do too much all by himself. You know, certainly as a senior and a pretty good player, he's going to try and, like you said, put this team on his back, try and do everything he can, but the one thing you can't do is do too much. You know, when you see the opportunities to pass, you got to go with those as well. And I think Luke Noah will. He's just got to remember that.
Yeah, Luke Noah, a very, very smart and talented player. I think he realizes that he's still got to trust his teammates, and he's going to need his teammates if he wants to win tonight.
Certainly. And, folks, so it's a 1-0 lead for Davies here. Let's say Shanley gets one back, and then we end in a tie. I don't know for sure what the implications of a tie are. I think Shanley is still alive in the event of a tie, technically. I think it becomes a lot harder for them to make it, but I don't think their chances are necessarily dead with a tie. A win, though, is almost a necessity here tonight, just to keep that in mind if they want to make state again. Olsen chasing this ball down. Dew getting back there to play some defense on him. Shanley has now caught up on D, back in position. This ball going to be headed forward by Bolmy. And now Mickelson looking for the clear. Andy Thomas is there with the header, but Kyle Stitch is there to pick it up. Ball off the feet of Thomas and back deep into the Davies zone. It's chased after by Bosch. Bosch gets that ball up to Thomas. And Niemer has it now on the far side. Great move past Nellermo, but Luke Noah got in there to knock it away. Now Reinholtz has it. Evan Reinholtz, stutter step. Now looking, he goes over to Mickelson. Mickelson with a great pass. A little touch pass is a little too strong, though, as Anderson has it. And he gives off over to Olsen. Olsen working against Mickelson. Looking for an opening. Just fires one downfield and no one home. It's picked up by Bolmy. Bolmy over to Reinholtz. Reinholtz now up to Mickelson. Reinholtz able to get back on top of that one. Thomas had it for a second, but it went right into the feet of Evan Reinholtz, who now gives back to Nellermo on the far side. Nellermo with Eagles all around him has it taken away. Adams giving off up to Nunez. Nunez makes a little move, able to get around some Shanley defenders there, and now the Eagles maintain possession. Olsen with it. Split between Beiswinger and Mickelson on the pass. Gets to Olsen. Olsen corrals it over to Nunez now. Nunez upfield. Think he was looking for Niemer, but it was taken instead by Stitch. Stitch with a nice pass intended for Nellermo. He was too strong on it, though, as Niemer pops it up over the head of Stitch. Haldis is in there battling. Incidental clash of heads back there, as now Luke Noah has it, going back to Mickelson. Here is Mickelson, the senior surveys, trying to hook up with Luke Noah. A little too strong. And it's just going to roll out of bounds as Ethan Olsen lets that one go.
Well, we saw that chance there from Luke Noah just a few minutes ago, and it looks like the Eagles have really tried to calm the play down, trying to keep possession here, and really trying to keep the ball away from the Deacons.
Yeah, they've tightened up a lot on defense now here, Emmett. They're not playing with much reckless abandon. Not to say they were in the beginning, but they've really tightened it up now, just making sure there are no holes in this defense, maybe sacrificing a few offensive opportunities, but I think they're comfortable doing that. They trust their offense to get the job done, even if they're giving them a little less of an advantageous situation. Olsen trying to get back to it. It was Beiswinger, though, who ended up with it. Going back to Mickelson. That ball was knocked out of bounds by Nunez.
Jed, number 6, Drew Beiswinger, a freshman on the Shanley team. He's done some great things for the Deacons all year, playing in this midfield position. I'd expect to see him rotate a little bit with Odin here. And both of those freshmen, they have been great for the Deacons so far, as I've said, and they'll be key for them tonight.
Yeah, Odin and Beiswinger, like you said, alternate quite a bit. Next year, though, if not next year, certainly the year after, I think we'll see them both as starters full-time. No more rotating between the two. That ball goes out of bounds, so it'll be Harrison Thome to kick it away now for the Eagles. Here goes Thome now, downfield. Trying to connect with Thomas. Thomas in a battle now with Dietz. Dietz trying to poke it over to Noah. Noah goes sliding after that one. Andy Thomas able to hang on to it. Thomas now back to Thome. Thome looking upfield. Fires it down. And a great pass there by Thome. Able to get it to Niemer. That ball from Niemer is intended for Haldis. Somehow stays in bounds. Haldis steps back around. Mears playing tight D on him.
What a ball from Niemer we just saw there, Jed. Just flipping that one up. Seemed like it might have carried a little bit in the wind, and Haldis was able to get on it.
Yeah, Niemer did a good job getting a lot of leg behind that one with not a lot of space, and just it straddled that out-of-bounds line, just staying in there. Haldis was not able to get too much out of it because he was pretty heavily outnumbered, but still a good setup, and now the Eagles still are in control as Dew is doing a nice job boxing out Jack Olson. They're in a corner now. Dew staying on top of him. Dietz came in there to help out. Olson was able to split them, but no one was there to get the pass. Olson now with it. Dietz putting pressure on. Dietz goes down. Reinhold's in there as well. Anderson sends it back in. And that ball went out of bounds. That time it was Jack Olson doing a little footwork here on the near side. He accidentally took it out of bounds, and that's a fortunate break for Shanley as now Dietz will get the throw-in. Or excuse me, it looks like Dew will take the throw-in. Dew looking, going to try to hook up with Noah. Luke Noah has it now. Nunez on top of him. It went out of bounds, and they'll say that's Eagle ball. Great play there from Nunez to take the ball away from Luke Noah and Shanley, as now the Eagles will set up in their own zone. Harrison Thome with it now at the 30-yard line, taking his time, looking downfield. He wants to send a bomb down there, but he keeps it short. It gives off over to Haldis. Haldis trying to go across over to Nunez, or maybe not. Ethan Olson is the man on the spot for Davies. And he got it to Nunez. Nunez was tied up there with Beiswinger. Nunez did come away with it, though. It's now 3-on-1. The Deacons get good numbers in there, and Owen Mears has it now. Mears up to Noah. Luke Noah. He had Reinholtz with him, but he couldn't get around Harrison Thome there. Bag on D for Davies. Bolmy sends it downfield now. Had a couple options there with Lance and Noah, but it was out of reach of both of them, and it'll be picked up by Noah Saar.
Jed, it seems like the Deacons have really settled back here, not pressuring this Davies back line. I think if they want to come back here and make a run for the state tournament, they really got to start applying more pressure.
I would agree, Emmett. And, you know, the defensive strategy here is working in the sense that they're keeping Davies from getting too many good opportunities, and that's part of what you got to do here, but you're down already 1-0 going up a pretty potent offensive attack here that the Eagles have. You're going to have to get some points on the board because, like I said, you're already down 1-0, and if you could even hold Davies to 1, that'd be huge, but the odds of that aren't great given how, you know, strong this offense is. So Olson will sub off, but Minyamana is back on the field for the Eagles. Mickelson tied up with a man, going after that one on the far sideline. Came away with it, but only briefly. The Eagles are back on top of it now as Adams has it. Adams with a great move to get around Beiswinger. He's got space. He fires one, but it's wide and to the left.
Great move there from Adams, getting some space away from Beiswinger. Got it on his left foot. Nice shot there, and it just happened to go wide, but still a positive sign there for Adams and the Eagles.
Yeah, Adams is just a heck of a playmaker, Emmett. He does a great job generating space and setting up his teammates as Luke Noah is carrying this ball into the zone, making some moves. He fires one. It's blocked in front. Noah and Reinholtz with a miscommunication. Both thought the other had it, and the Eagles take advantage. Here goes Davies now. Nunez works his way around Beiswinger. They've got numbers now headed the other way. Trying to connect with a man on the far side. It's Ali. Ali working against Mickelson. Mickelson does a good job cutting off the angle, but Ali was able to get a pass off. And it's Baminyamana carrying in. Or excuse me, that's Adams rather. Adams to Ali. Now back to Adams. He has it poked away by Beiswinger. Reinhold's in to clean it up. He got a foot on it, but Thomas got there. But not before Mickelson could knock it away, though. Excuse me. Joe Mickelson making the strong defensive play.
Andy Thomas with some great agility there, jumping in front of the ball, able to deflect that one and win an Eagle corner.
Yeah, Thomas has been flying around there in the middle of the field, making a pretty positive impact offensively for the Eagles. 14 minutes even on the clock here in the first half. 1 goal separates these two teams. It was Casey Huldis who got the difference maker a while ago now. Baminyamana, the man on the ball for Davies. Ball well played by Bolmy over to Dew. Dew right back to Bolmy. They play keep away for a minute before Bolmy takes off with it. Pressure being put on. He's going to have to do something with it. Bolmy centers. Nice little pass over to Noah, who's trying to go back to Bolmy, but it was broken up. And that ball will just roll out of bounds. It'll be Davies' ball. Dew knocks that one back downfield, stays in bounds, but only briefly. And now Olsen throws this one in. Taken by Nunez. Beiswinger got in there to break it up. Dietz gets it off over to Noah. Luke Noah now moving across the field. Noah has some space, looking, trying to center it to Dietz. Broken up, though. Nice defensive play by the Eagles. Noah trying to get the second effort to go. Can't break through, though, and that ball's taken by Bolmy, looking for Mickelson. Able to get it back to Stitch that time, and then Mickelson sends it down to Reinholtz. Reinholtz trying to establish some distance here. He's able to get it off over to Noah. Luke Noah in trouble, looking for someone. Instead, it's taken away by Baminyamana. Baminyamana juggles that one back and forth with a couple of Eagles before taking off with it. Jorgen Dietz got back there to take it away. Dietz and Beiswinger couldn't connect, but Dietz was able to get off to Dew. Dew now up to Beiswinger. It's knocked away by Olsen. Reinholtz comes in there to try and poke it back forward. Stitch is there as well as Shanley's making an all-out effort now to regain that zone. To no avail, though, as Nunez has it now for Davies. Nunez upfield to Ali. Ali only had it for a second, though, and Mickelson knocked it away once again.
Luke Noah, once again, trying to distribute to his teammates. A few minutes ago, it looked like he was going for Jorgen Dietz on that top of the 18. Might have had some space there to Dietz, but a great play there from Thome, I believe it was, breaking up the play. And just another example of Noah really trying to create opportunities for his team.
Yeah, and although it doesn't work there, I do like the strategy here, the philosophy of this Shanley team now. Taking more of an offensive role here, knowing what they need to do. And now they've got Owen Mears playing up there, so they have really emptied out that defense, and they're bringing everybody forward. Mears and Noah, former defenseman, now playing in that forward role. Mears and Dietz both chasing after this ball. Jorgen Dietz goes down hard, no call. It looked incidental, as now Nellermo has got it. Nellermo with Ali there, and Ali is able to take it away. Ali with some fancy moves. He's able to get that one away to Huldis on the far side. Here goes Casey Huldis. Nellermo staying with him. Huldis makes the play back to the man in the middle. It was Thomas. Now this ball cycled around. Trying to maintain control was Anderson. He had Dietz flying in there, so he just had to dump it out. And that one's out of bounds off Anderson, so here's Joe Mickelson to throw in. Shanley trying to maintain this fast pace of play. Mickelson straight to Mears, to Dietz, right back to Mears. Mears trying to corral this one. It was taken away by Anderson. Anderson now gets it to Huldis. Evan Reinholtz stands Huldis up in the middle of the field, though, and gets it to Mears. Mears with the pass intended for Noah. Luke Noah comes away with it. He's got a shot, and it's just wide, though, to the left. Luke Noah visibly frustrated as another opportunity just slips through the Deacons' fingers.
What a great interception there from Evan Reinholtz. Did a great job to start that attack for the Deacons. Just happened to go through a couple Eagle defenders. Luke Noah found himself on the end of it. Couldn't make good enough contact, though, when it just ends up wide of the post.
And it was a tough angle, very tough angle to try and get one in from there, but you're just not going to get that close with no one in front of you except the goalie very often, and Luke Noah knows that. So the Deacons trying to continue this momentum and try and get one in the back of the net before the end of this first half. Huldis with it once again. Mears is there. Beiswinger as well is chasing after Adams now. Adams upfield. Joe Mickelson there to break it up once again. Adams got back to it, though. Beiswinger with the header forward. Baminyamana able to get off over to Anderson. Anderson now at the 30, looking for a man. He had Ali. It was broken up, though, by Bolmy, and now Kyle Stitch will clear downfield. Luke Noah chasing after it. Noah has it. Pressure coming, though. He sends it forward. Kevin Gladich moving in there with speed. Could not quite get to it, though. Ball headed back the other way. Not for long, though. Luke Noah and Andy Thomas go down hard. Big collision, and it will be Davies' ball here.
Luke Noah just trying to win that ball back for his team. Just happened to be a little bit too physical there. Thomas went down, and it drew the foul.
Yeah, and I think he would have been okay, except he ended up falling on top of Thomas, and I think that's when the referee decided to blow the whistle there and call that against Luke Noah. And so it is Eagle ball now. They've got a good opportunity here. Haldus fires. Could not get enough mustard behind that one, though. He was able to split it through a couple defenders, but just not enough power.
Haldus, I'm sure he's happy. He found a lot of room there. Tried to get off the shot, but just couldn't make good enough contact. Sure, that's not what he tried to do there, but still, positive sign for the Eagles, getting forward and creating trouble for the Deacon back line.
Right, Haldus and Adams have really caused some trouble here for Shanley early on, as that ball from Adams just about found its way to maybe that time. He was in there right in front of Hoff, but he could not quite get to it. He was maybe a step or two behind.
Adams put a lot of curve on that ball, Jed. It looked like that thing was moving all over the place. Bowman misjudged it. Almost an opportunity there for the Eagles, but it just ends up in the arms of Cam Hoff.
Well, here's Adams once again. Just enough on that pass, able to get it over to Haldus. Haldus with Reinholtz right there. Haldus now going to find some space, try to curl around. Angle cut off by Stitch. He centers intended for Adams, and Jay Stu is there to knock it back. That one's off the head of Reinholtz and out of bounds. Got a stoppage in play here for a substitution.
Substitution on the pitch for your Eagles. Number 5.
And it will be for Davies as Grant Weimkin comes onto the field. So Thomas has it now for the Eagles with pressure on. It was Nellermo that time, along with Noah trying to take it away. Harrison Thome has it, sends it down. Mickelson able to get ahead on it, and now it's Dietz with it. Dietz intended for Mears. It was touched by Olsen. Luke Noah almost got to it, but it's broken up by Thome. Here's Adams now with it. Adams over to Ali. Ali trying to get in there, and it's offsides. Tough break for the Eagles.
Jed, up top for the Deacons, we see the defensive duo of Owen Mears and Luke Noah, two players that had played a lot of defense so far this year. Both players are very talented, have scored a good number of combined goals, and I like this move here by the Deacons. Just throw in all your shooters forward. You can trust your defense that they'll make the plays they need to, and they're just going to try to create some more opportunities here.
Yeah, I really like the move here by Coach Christensen, recognizing that they're going to need to get some points on the board here. He's deciding to trust his goalkeeper and trust the few true defensemen he's left back there. And like you said, he's bringing his best shooters forward, and he's just going all out here trying to get something going offensively. And I like that move because he knows that Shanley's offense has been their weakness this season.
Looked like that was a bit of a push in the back there as the assistant referee called it. And now Mears is going to take a free kick from a very dangerous position.
So here's a big opportunity for the Deacons. Mears has got that ball at the 30-yard line. And here he goes. Owen Mears trying to get it in on net. It was close, but it was headed away. Nice defensive play there for the Eagles. Mears able to get back to it, though, trying to work his way around Ali. Mears and Ali get tangled up. It's stuck in the legs of Ali as he was on the ground. Mears somehow breaks his way through. There's about 4 Eagles there. They're finally able to take it away from Owen Mears and then get that ball downfield. Won't stay there for long, though, as Stitch fires it right back in. Chased after by Nellermo. Mears got it for a second and then fires it, aimed at the net, I believe, but it's going to be deflected and roll out of bounds.
Not quite sure there, Jeb, but I believe that just happened to go to the inside of the corner flag, and I think we will have a throw in here for the Deacons.
Yeah, I think you're right here, Emmett. And I'm guessing they'd rather have the corner, but they'll certainly take a throw in pretty good position. And so an opportunity for Shanley as Mickelson got a foot on it. He was trying to get the rebound opportunity back in on net. Just couldn't quite get enough control on it.
Joe Mickelson there with an athletic play. Just to even get his foot on that ball. Had a lot of power on it. Just mishit it, though, when it went high of the crossbar.
Well, you know, Emmett, Joe Mickelson has really been given quite the role in this game because now that Luke Noah and Owen Mears are playing that full-time forward role, Mickelson is back there. He's kind of got to control this blue line now. He's the most experienced player they've got on that back line. Excuse me, blue line hockey term here. But Mickelson, yeah, he's been given a really big responsibility. He's going to have to control this Deacon defense and lead the way. So far, he's been quite good. We'll see what he can do for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, Jed, Mickelson really going to have to lead this back line as it looks like they have 2 juniors operating in the center defensive line here for the Deacons.
Well, and keep in mind, Jay Stu, who you saw make the clear there, one of those juniors they've got back there. This is his first year of high school soccer, his first year of competitive soccer in quite a while. So between Kyle Stitch, the sophomore, Dew, the first-year varsity player, and Bolmy, who's really only in his second year playing significant minutes, Joe Mickelson is fairly alone back there in terms of experience. It's a talented group, just not a ton of games logged between them. Mears is on top of it, playing a little further back now with 3:35 to go in this first half. Would not surprise me if Shanley retreats maybe into more of a defensive role here, tries to keep this a 1-0 game, and then come out swinging at the beginning of the second half. Davies, meanwhile, trying to add to their lead, but Joe Mickelson going to make it mighty tough on him as he gets this ball downfield. And I thought that might have stayed in there for a second, but it did actually take a hop out. So here's the quick throw-in from Olsen. Able to connect with Anderson. Anderson going across all the way over to Adams. Adams has got 3 Deacons around him. No trouble, though, for Adams. The crafty playmaker easily gets it over to Olsen. Ball from Olsen, going to bounce in front of Hoff. Took an awkward bounce that time. Cam Hoff, though, got the elevation and made the save.
An awkward play there. Nunez almost got on the end of that ball. Cam Hoff, very agile play there. Quick off his line. He's able to win it. And very brave there to stand in front of a lot of flying cleats in your face and make that catch.
Here come the Eagles, though, right back once again. It's Andy Thomas carrying it in. That ball knocked back to Nunez, finds its way to Thomas, wide open. Thomas fires, excellent save by Cam Hoff. Hoff trying to single-handedly preserve the Deacons' chances at the state tournament there with that save.
Cam Hoff, we've seen a lot of great saves this season for Cam Hoff, but Jed, I believe that may be the most important one we've seen so far. What a beautiful save, sticking out the foot at the last second, able to stop Andy Thomas from getting that goal, and he keeps his team in it once again, as we've seen many times this season.
Could not have said it better myself, Emmett. Maybe we've seen a couple of prettier saves, but you're absolutely right. None were more important than that one he made just right there. So 1:50 left. He might have to do it once again as Davies is making a run here. Great move by Jay Stu, though. He's able to stop that rush. He'll give Shanley some time to get back on defense now as Niemer will throw in. He'll hand that one off to Ethan Olsen, who will throw in. 1:33 left now. Shanley, again, probably is trying to escape here, only down 1. Might be a tough task, though, as Niemer is coming in. Niemer works his way around a couple defenders, ended up in the legs of Bolmy, and Joe Mickelson with the desperation clear. I think it will be a corner here for Davies, but Joe Mickelson was left with no choice that time. He just had to get that thing out of there.
Yeah, Jed, Matthew Niemer, another one of these seniors on this Eagles team who has done great things for them this year. He was doing a great job there of getting around Mickelson, trying to center that one, but Mickelson did a great job to recover there, makes the play for his team.
So that one just going to take a bounce out in front of the Shanley net. Nothing too dangerous there, although Davies still has possession with plenty of time. Ball finds its way back to Olsen. Joe Mickelson is there. He tried to clear, but Nunez came out of nowhere to take it away. Pressure applied. Nunez now going to hook up with Thomas. Thomas in the near corner. Centering feed right in front. Oh, man, Niemer off the iron. Just about had it. Niemer, oh my gosh. You're not going to get an opportunity better than that, Emmett.
Niemer is going to be kicking himself after that one, Jed. 10 yards out, nobody in front of him. Just has to slot it to either side, and he skies that one. But it happens in this sport. Sometimes it'll take a bobble right before it gets to your foot. But I'm sure he'll be kicking himself after that one.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Emmett, it happens as time will expire here in the first half. Just a tough break for Niemer. I think Thomas got the pass off so quick Niemer wasn't really expecting it, and he was just trying to get enough behind it so that a defender, Cam Hoff, couldn't get to it. Unfortunately, put a little too much behind that one. Folks, at this time, we do want to take a minute to remind you that Shanley TV is made possible in part by the Shanley Athletic Club and their generous members. Check out their website today at shanleyathletic.club.com to learn how your membership contributes to Shanley TV, the Deacon Den, and many other student-athlete needs. While you're there, be sure to renew your annual membership by clicking the Join Now button or become a member if you're not one already. It's easy to become a member and anyone can join, so sign up today. The Shanley Athletic Club, taking Deacon Athletics to a higher level. And folks, we're going to step away for just a few minutes here. Don't go anywhere, though. We got a great second half of soccer action coming up.
This broadcast is presented by American Family Insurance, Ken Craft Agency, Bell Bank, Beyond Boundaries Therapy Services, Butler Machinery, Ed's Marine, the Fargo Jet Center, First International Bank and Trust, Forum Communications, Haley's Hope, Hurley's Religious Goods, Luther Family Buick GMC, Master Construction, Moore Engineering, Network Center, Northern Improvement, Off the Wall Advertising, Robert Gibb and Sons, Sanford, Shields, Taxman, TCI Insurance, and Wolf Steel Construction.
Good evening, folks, and welcome back to North Dakota High School boys soccer action. I'm Jed Thomas, of course, joined by Emmett Kenny as we are getting ready for the second half of our game here tonight between the Shanley Deacons and the Fargo Davies Eagles. Emmett, after our first 40 minutes of play, we emerged with a 1-0 lead for Davies. What do you think will be different about this second half, if anything? Do you think Shanley is going to mount a comeback here? Do you think they're going to adjust their style at all to try and get back in this one? What are your thoughts?
Jared, I think we saw many positive things from both teams in that first half. For the Deacons, they surely did a good job of creating a lot of chances, had a good amount of scoring opportunities, and I think they can take some of that as momentum going into this half. They know that they can get past this Eagles back line. I expect them to ramp up the intensity as the game gets shorter, and I think that'll be big here for the Deacons, just getting that one goal to spark that momentum.
All right, well, easier said than done, as we know. We'll see what they can do, though. We've got Owen Mears again up there playing at that forward position, and Luke Noah is now back there at defense. So to start off, at least, an interesting strategy. You would think it'd be the other way around, if anything, but we'll see what they've got. Maybe Shanley was anticipating a strong Davies attack, because here come the Eagles right off the bat, as that ball's going to take a bounce in front of Nellermo and then is corralled by Weimkin, on the near side. Now here comes Olsen firing across. Too strong that time, but boy, the Eagles came out swinging here to start the second half, so maybe a smart move having Luke Noah back there.
Yeah, Jed, the Eagles have a big win here behind their back. It's blowing very hard, and I think that could play a huge part of the second half, and that might be one of the reasons why the Deacons sent back Luke Noah onto the back line.
That's true, Emmett. You know, we haven't talked a ton about it, but that wind is ferocious here tonight, and as we all know, that can play a major role in these sorts of games. Shanley had it at their backs in that first half, which was no doubt to their benefit, but now they got to adjust to playing into it. Davies, meanwhile, experiencing the benefits of that wind at their backs. They'll have to make some adjustments, too. They can't hit this ball too hard now with that strong wind blowing, but certainly Shanley in a bit of a tougher position because of that wind. Just going to have to overcome that, though. Again, they're only down one here. Very manageable deficit. That ball going to take a bounce out of bounds. Now we'll have a throw in on the far side. I believe that is due. Now tossing it in for Shanley. That ball goes off the head of Mickelson. No one there to grab it. Mickelson going to chase it down himself. Joe Mickelson trying to gain separation on the far side, but they'll say it was out of bounds.
Some nice aggressive play there from Mickelson, trying to keep that one in bounds. Looked like he was trying to knock that one forward to Nellermo, but more great aggressiveness we've seen out of these seniors.
And I wonder, Emmett, how long Luke Noah will stay back in that defensive role. It could be the whole half. It could be the first 10 minutes here. I really don't know, but I think until they get him back there, they're going to struggle on offense a little bit.
Yeah, Jade, you got to wonder when Coach Ryan Christensen is going to make that change.
Well, maybe they won't struggle, as Nellermo has a good opportunity there. Perhaps I spoke too soon. Lance and Nellermo had some space there moving downfield.
Yeah, Jade, as I was saying, as more time comes off the clock here in this game, the Deacons are going to need to start pushing forward more for a goal, and putting their goal scorers at the front might be a smart move here. Put in Noah at the back at the start just to make sure that the Eagles do not get an early one. But I would definitely expect to see Noah move up pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm guessing that's probably Coach Christensen's idea here. You know, have Luke Noah back there to start off the first maybe 5-10 minutes, make sure everybody's good to go on that back line, and then bring him forward for the final push here, as this is a nice opportunity for Davies, but it was well offside, so it'll be whistled dead. 36:58 remains in the second half. Plenty of time for a lot to happen here, but again, Shanley's main focus is just getting on the scoreboard. Davies, meanwhile, looking to expand their lead. In case you missed it, we talked a lot about it in the first half here. Pretty big state implications tonight. Davies has got the first place position in the EDC. They're pretty much, well, they really are guaranteed a position at state at this point. I don't think they have first place quite locked up technically, but they're pretty close, so they certainly want a win tonight to guarantee they'll be the 1 seed from the East. Shanley, though, has to win tonight. Again, I think they can tie and stay alive, but it would make things much more difficult, I believe. So a win is just about necessary tonight. A loss, and I do think mathematically they're eliminated from contention, as that ball will be saved by Noah Saar, rather. Kick from Saar down at about the 40, takes a bounce, and then is headed forward by Niemer. It's going to be chased after by Dew. Dew couldn't quite get to it, though. Mickelson coming in to try and clean it up, and Niemer will have to double back. On the far side, Olsen trying to find a gap. He could not, though. Niemer gets it back to Olsen. Mears putting pressure on him. Olsen with a nice pass inside, able to find Haldus. Haldus spins around, hands that one off over to Nunez. Nunez trying to go back to Haldus, but it's intercepted by Reinholtz. Reinholtz put that one off the back legs of the referee, and now Andy Thomas is moving in with speed. He'll just dump that one off back to Olsen to try and slow things down. Olsen up to Haldus, straight back to Thomas. Thomas now with it around the 45. Lance was putting pressure on, so he goes back over to Anderson. Olsen with the behind-the-back pass, looking for Thomas or Haldus there, or excuse me, Niemer. Couldn't get to Niemer, though, and Niemer couldn't catch it, so it'll be Shanley ball now after that ball went out of bounds. Or maybe not, actually. I think they're
Yeah, I believe that was Andy Thomas going after that ball very hard, and it looks like he happened to clip the feet of Jace Dew.
Yeah, maybe going a little too hard that time was Thomas, so be a call against the Eagles, although that momentum will not last too long for Shanley as Reinholtz goes down after some contact is made with Nunez. Great ball from Nunez, able to find Adams. Here goes Adams now with space, moving in. Bolmy is there alongside of Dew. Dew made the initial stop, couldn't keep it out though. Great behind-the-back pass. Nellermo and Hoff are both there, and Hoff is able to dive on it at the last second. That was close, though. Best opportunity of this second half, I'd say.
How about that little flick there from, I believe that was Casey Haldus, just centering that ball, and a great job there by Cam Hoff to get onto that ball, making sure that no Eagle has a chance at it.
And that ball just about taking out one of our cameras, as you could see it closing in on the shot there. That'll be sent back into play here. Be a throw-in for the Eagles. 34 minutes remain in the second half as Weimkin throws this one in. Quickly goes to possession of the Deacons as Stitch gave that one off over to Dietz. Jorgen Dietz trying to keep it in play. It goes off of Nellermo. And now Stitch will send it forward. Lance couldn't get to it. It's loose around the 50-yard line. Now Evan Reinholtz waiting for that ball to settle down. Sends it downfield around the 30-yard line. Noah Lance giving chase, putting pressure on Olsen there. Olsen able to escape, get it, and gets it upfield to Niemer. Niemer just got a foot on it. Didn't really do anything to it, just kind of bounced it forward, and it made a nice play for the Eagles as now they're setting up. Olsen, a little shaken up, and so he just hands that ball off over to Weimkin. Weimkin now goes to Thomas, and Thomas couldn't quite settle it down as it rolls out of bounds. And Mickelson was looking to throw in that time, but instead it'll be Dietz.
Looks like we have a stoppage in play for a potential injury here for number 7, Jack Olsen.
And yeah, that is correct, Emmett. We saw Olsen, I don't think he really made contact with anyone. I think it was just something he maybe pulled, just kind of running around out there. But we saw him get possession of the ball, and then he immediately just dumped it off because he clearly felt he was not well enough to play that ball. But he looks to be a little better right now, maybe just moving slower. But for the Eagles' sake, you'd hope he is okay because he's a vital part of this offensive attack. And here he comes now on the edge. Luke Noah just got in there to break it up. So Olsen battling through injury and making things happen.
Perfectly timed there, Jed, as we were just talking about Olsen, and he makes another great play there, trying to center that one to, I believe that was Niemer. Just couldn't get it to him, though, but he still forces an Eagle corner.
Get a look at the replay here. And, you know, maybe we were... Oh, okay, that's from the first half. All right, that was one of Luke Noah's potential scoring opportunities. But, you know, that speaks to what he brings to the table on offense. So you can see there, that's part of the reason why you want to have Luke Noah playing forward as well. Right now he's on defense, of course. Like we talked about, as that's going off the crossbar and out of play now as it hit the goalpost. But, boy, that was close. I think everyone thought that was going over. Hoff elevated just to be sure, and then it kind of took a sharp decline and just about found its way in.
Wow, I believe that was Andy Thomas here on the near sideline. That ball was just rolling towards him. I believe he made the right play, just hitting it, seeing where it goes. Almost bends into that top corner, I believe. And Hoff did a good job there to elevate and make sure that it didn't have any chance, and I believe it did hit the crossbar.
That was a nice play kind of set up by Haldus there, too, just a second ago. He was able to get the header off, but there wasn't a ton behind it. An easy save for Hoff, but still nice setup there. So now here's Andy Thomas with it. Mears puts pressure on from behind. Loose ball. Adams had it for a second. Now Mears trying to get on top of it. Andy Thomas takes it away, though. And now it's just sent down by the Davies defense, trying to dump it into the zone. Loose ball. Now we got a whistle. And it looks like Huldis maybe got a little too physical there.
Jed, it looks like we're still seeing Luke Noah back there on the Deacon back line. Gotta wonder here, just over 30 minutes to go, when is Noah going to make that change to start attacking for the Deacons?
Well, you know, my guess, Emmett, is Coach Christensen was maybe not super comfortable with having both Noah and Mears playing offense towards the end of that first half. He wants to put one of them back there. You know, he had, I think at this point, he's just kind of trying to put any combination out there and see what works. You know, not quite as random as that sounds, but Luke Noah was making opportunities happen, but he wasn't really finishing, so they brought Mears up there, but then they were worried about the back line, so they bring Noah back. So now I think they're seeing maybe what Owen Mears can do on his own up there. And like I said, I think Coach Christensen is just kind of seeing what works right now, and this obviously isn't the stage in the game or the season where you want to be doing that, but you got to do what you got to do. And if there's one thing that Shanley has been this year, it's been flexible. They have made any and all adjustments they can make to try and be a winning team. And it might sound a little funny, but that's not a skill every team possesses. Oftentimes I think maybe teams are a little too scared to move a 4-year defenseman up to forward or try and shift things around to, start multiple freshmen over, upperclassmen, see what they can do, try and see what works. That takes some guts to do as a team, and we've seen Shanley do that to their credit. But the question is, has it worked? And as of yet, it's been kind of a mixed bag. Tonight, obviously, it's got to work if they want to make state.
Yeah, Jed, I agree. Obviously, not normal to see so many changes in positions here from players, but you see the position the Deacons are in this year. They lost many skilled players at the end of last season. They really are still trying to figure out who works at what spot, even up until the end here. They're going to have to figure it out soon, though.
And that's some nice penetration for the Eagles. Hoff! Oh, he got a piece of it, but he couldn't get it all. And wait, it's going to be waved off for an offsides, I think, Emmett. Was that the call?
Yeah, it wasn't offsides there, Jed. I'm not too sure about that one. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see a replay here, but Niemer did a very good job there. And, yeah, we will see a replay here. As nice play from Olsen.
Maybe just a hair there, Emmett?
I got to tell you, Jed, I'm not sure I saw it there, but very fortunate for the Deacons that was called.
Yeah, Deacons maybe catching a break there. It's tough when you're down on the field like that. Obviously, you don't have the benefit of instant replay, so can't really hold it against the referees. Maybe Shanley gets away with a break there. But, yeah, Deacons fortunate, and let's see if they can take advantage of it. This is a very good Davies team, and they're probably going to want to try and get that goal right back after having it waved off. So this ball sent downfield by Anderson. Corralled on the far side as the Eagles try to mount another offensive. Niemer bouncing around off a couple of guys there. Joe Mickelson came in to take it away, but that ball ends up out of bounds. 28 minutes left. Still plenty of time, but eventually that clock is going to become a factor here for Shanley.
Welcome onto the pitch for your Eagles. Number 2, Eric. 5-8 Yamana.
Looks like that is number 7, Jack Olsen, coming off. He did have that injury, it appeared, a few minutes ago, now coming off. Not sure if he will get some medical attention.
Yeah, I think it looked like something that wouldn't keep him out of play, but was maybe nagging him enough where they want to rest him a little bit and don't want to, exacerbate that injury. And they bring in a pretty capable player in Eric Yamana. And another thing for the Davies here, the difference between them and Shanley in this situation is the Eagles have played well enough this season where they're, obviously you can't take any games off, you're still securing that first seed, but they can pull one of their better players in Olsen with the idea that you want to keep him healthy for the state tournament. Shanley obviously not having that luxury as they have dropped a lot more games than the Eagles, and this is a must-win. So guys are going to be fighting through whatever they can to stay on the field. And certainly, if Davies were in that position, Olsen would maybe still be out there, depending on how serious it is. But that's just the luxury of, being in a pretty good spot at this point in the season. Thomas wanting a handball there, and it did maybe look like there was a hand on that one. but it won't be called, so we play on as Dew comes away with it, and he sends it upfield. Only briefly, though, it goes out of bounds off the feet of Thomas.
Yeah, Jed, as you were saying, we've said it all night, but these Eagles, I really believe they want to get a win here tonight. We have seen most of these starters not even have a break so far tonight, Jed, and I just think that speaks to the Eagles' competitiveness. Excuse me.
Well, and look at this, a wide open opportunity for Bin Yamana, and he could not quite convert. Excuse me, that's Baminyamana, who just could not quite get it past Hoff. He was wide open on the breakaway, and Hoff spread out there, laid down on his side, and was able to make the save. So Cam Hoff continues to preserve this season for Shanley, trying to keep their hopes alive. That ball going to be checked upfield by, I believe that was Mickelson on the far side. And it goes out of bounds, so it'll be Davies' ball.
And another great save we saw there from Cam Hoff. I believe that's his second crucial save we've seen so far here, Jed. Obviously, he did let the first one in there, but he's done a great job of keeping his team in it. He's done it all year, and he's doing it again tonight.
Yeah, since that goal early in this game, Hoff has been a wall there for Shanley. Of course, there was the one that made it through that was called back, but Hoff has been quite solid. You know, anything that's gotten through there pretty much, I think, you can't really put on Hoff. Obviously, a goal is equal parts goalie and equal parts a team in front of him, but he's been pretty good. Played pretty well for Shanley here. They're going to have to try and return the favor and see if they can get on the board as Adams circles back and fires this one a little closer than I think the Deacons were expecting as Baminyamana put some pressure on.
I believe that one might have been deflected there. Looked like the ball had an awful lot of awkward movement on that one. Possibly hard to judge there for Cam Hoff, but he does well to come out and make the play.
Yeah, when there's a lot of traffic in front like that, the ball can hit, the foot or the body of anyone in front and change direction pretty quick. So you got to be careful if you're Cam Hoff. You got to always be ready. That's tricky as a goalie when you think the ball's going one way, then it gets into that mess of players and it comes out going a totally different direction. So Bolmy will throw in. High ball over the head of Mickelson. Trying to get back to it. He goes back to Bolmy. Ball sent in. Deflected up in the air by Anderson. Box out. Mears tried to get in there. Thome was boxing him out there. Mears slipped through but could not quite get to the ball.
That was some nice play there from Owen Mears, trying to pressure Noah Sarr, who went up to make the catch there. And some more great play we've seen here from Mears. He's been all over the field tonight, literally from defense to offense. So he's crucial for these Deacons, and he's going to need to step up here in these last few minutes.
Yeah, certainly Mears has been one of the most valuable players on this Deacon team tonight and really all season. Next year, definitely, he'll be expected to take an even bigger role as a senior. And folks, if you're having trouble identifying any of the Shanley players out there, one thing to help keep things clear, all the seniors tonight are wearing red headbands. I spoke to them before the game today, and they said it was an homage to Jake Fritz, who would have been a senior when they were freshmen. For those of you who remember, Jake Fritz was quite famous for his headband, keeping that long hair out of his eyes. These Shanley seniors don't quite have the hair of Jake Fritz, but it's a nice gesture. With those red headbands. Again, it is senior night, so they were looking to do something special here for a pretty important game, obviously with the state implications, and it being their last home game.
Yeah, Jed, very cool. Jake Fritz, one of the top players to come through this program. Nice little nod to him, and I got to say, they do look nice out there on the field.
Very sharp. Couldn't agree more with you, Emmett. So that ball goes over the Shanley net and out of play. Cam Hoff will get the goal kick here for the Deacons. That's going to drop around the 45 off the head of Mears. It ricochets off of Adams, and now Andy Thomas comes curling around, able to find a man on the far side. I believe that was Weimkin who sent it in just briefly, and now Nunez has it. Nunez got tied up there with Mears. Back in control of Olsen, who goes over on the far side to Thomas. Thomas with it. Still moving into the Shanley zone, able to get it out in front to Baminyamana. Loose ball picked up there by Mears, trying to get the clear. He cannot. The Eagles hold the zone. Nunez spinning around. There's Mears who was there to take it away. And there's a whistle going against the Eagles. Got a little too physical there.
How about that from Owen Mears coming all the way back from his offensive position? He's able to get in front of Nunez there. put some separation on the ball. Nunez made a lunge for it, knocked over Mears in the process.
Yeah, that's a big stand for Shanley. That was a really good opportunity for the Eagles, and the Deacon defense stood tall. But again, it's not so much the defense you got to worry about. Obviously, that's got to stay strong here, but it's the offense where you're really lacking and trying to get a goal on the board. So that ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be chased down by Jorgen Dietz. And Emmett, I know it's tough. Shanley's playing a really tough opponent here. They've got a great midfielders, great defense, great goaltender, so they're good at keeping goals off the board. But you'd like to see maybe a little more desperation in the way Shanley is playing, and I know that sounds kind of funny, but at this point with your season on the line, I'd just like to see him kind of sell out more here to try and get those goals. I think it was working well with Joe Mickelson back on defense and Luke Noah and Owen Mears up front. I think that's the combination you got to go back to. I don't think you can be so worried about keeping goals off the board at this point.
Yeah, Jed, I agree. Obviously, there is a little bit of disparity here between the skill level of both teams, But still, the Deacons have to throw numbers forward here. Season most likely on the line. You need to get a win here tonight, and I expect them to do that here in the coming minutes.
Yeah, with about 20 minutes left, it's still a good chunk of time, but that's going to look smaller and smaller, and it's going to get small pretty quick, so they're going to have to start selling out to try and get that goal. As that ball almost curled its way in, Nellermo, I think that was on the far side. Or excuse me, no, that's Dietz who had the nice pass trying to curl it around. Just couldn't quite find its mark.
Throw-in specialist Mason Bolmy taking this one for the Deacons. He's going to try to throw that one right in the middle of the box and create some chaos here.
Yeah, he's going to try to launch this thing, get some traffic out in front, and that's to no avail, though. Good defense played by Davies. I think that's Thome who got a head on it, but now he walks away holding his side. So I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe he collided with a Deacon player there, as now Luke Noah is playing fairly far, or excuse me, no, that is Evan Reinholtz. Luke Noah's back at that defensive position with it. Noah able to get up to Mears. Mears taps it over, intended for Lance. Lance going to chase after it, able to keep it inbounds, and it goes out off the Eagles. Heads up play by the senior.
How about that from Noah Lance, the first-year player? Very heads-up play there. What a job he did there to keep the ball in bounds. Knocks it off the Eagle defender, and now he will have a throw-in for Shanley.
Yeah, we're talking about a guy who didn't really know all the rules until just a few games ago, so that's a pretty great play there from Noah Lance, and he's now got that ball once again, trying to work it through the Eagle defense. There's just too many of them there, though, as now running away with it is Ali. Luke Noah coming in there, trying to take it away, and he does succeed in doing so. Noah able to get it up to Lance, and Lance could not quite hold on to it. Nice play that time from Connor Bosch. Adams with it. He goes over to Thomas. Mears is up there along with Nellermo, and now Thome just sends this one downfield. It bounces right in front of Ali. Evan Reinholtz is in there, and Evan Reinholtz takes it away. Reinholtz moving through midfield. That ball found its way over to Dietz. Jorgen Dietz got it up to Nellermo. Nellermo attempting to work his way around Anderson. Anderson staying right on top of him, though. Nellermo able to double back. He centers, and that one was intended for Stitch, but it's headed away by Adams. Joe Mickelson comes flying in, got a knee on it, and he couldn't hold. The Eagles come away with it, getting it up to Baminyamana. Baminyamana now moving in, trying to flip the script and generate some pressure for the Eagles now. Centering feed is broken up nicely by Kyle Stitch. And Adams has it now as Jace Dew and Luke Noah are right there. Dew will be the man on Adams. Dietz comes back to help him out. The Eagles more than content to just play keep away here, although it won't last. Noah Lance came in to break it up. Couldn't hold it inbounds, though. It took a wild bounce and went out. 17:32 remaining now. And now some substitutions here. And if you thought the Eagles looked good before, they're sending out all of their starters again. There's 3 starters who were sitting out for a good chunk of time. But now Niemer, Olsen, and Haldis are all back out there for Davies.
Yeah, Jed, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Davies' whole starting lineup is out there right now. Really trying to make a final push here, seeing if they can grab another goal. But if not, they really want to keep the Deacons off the board here.
Right. You know, unless Davies gets 1 or 2 goals, unless they go up by a really comfortable margin here, I imagine we'll see the starting lineup until the end now with about 16:50 left. Maybe a couple substitutions, but I wouldn't imagine many. Thome moves in, trying to hold it in the Shanley zone. He succeeds in doing so, able to get it over to Adams. Tie up, Nunez has it. Nunez taking his time, directing traffic. On the near side, he found a man. It was Niemer. Niemer going back to Bosch. Bosch across the middle of the field. I think that was intended for Thomas, but it's intercepted instead by Dietz, who sends it down, and that ball's going out of bounds. And you can see the Deacons are a little winded, a little frustrated right now. They can't keep dumping that ball in like that, Emmett, because they've done that now 2 or 3 times, and it's just rolled out of bounds, and they've kind of repeated this cycle now.
I agree, Jed. The Deacons got to look to keep the ball on the ground here, as Kyle Stitch just did, and they really got to try to work it up the field here. Well, that's a clever pass from Owen Mears.
Yeah, Emmett, that was the way to do it there, with Mears almost hooking up with Nellermo there, trying to spring him for the breakaway. But again, Thomas is there along with Nunez to stymie this Shanley attack. Niemer gets it past Mickelson. That ball found its way over to Haldis, who's going to send it all the way across the field. And now with it is Olsen. Olsen makes a great play to get around the defender and leave it off over to Adams. Adams now coming back into the middle of the field. Reinhold's shadowing him. He gives off to Bosch. And that ball from Bosch, not sure what happened there. I think maybe just misplayed it, maybe a miscommunication with Niemer, but it rolls out of bounds, and it'll be a goal kick for the Deacons. There's a big break. 15-15 to go. Hoff on the goal kick. It's now or never for the Deacons. Pretty soon here they're going to have to really put their foot on the gas. In the meantime, though, it's the Eagles who continue to dominate here. Olsen going to launch one. Too high, too wide. But that just burns more clock, and they're okay with that.
Yeah, nice shot there from Olsen with his weak foot, all things considered. And that one just came off of his foot a little bit wrong. But we're still seeing Davies on the front foot here, still trying to get forward, trying to create opportunities, and they've done a great job of that this whole game.
Thomas battling in there along with Adams, who's there as well, but looks like he got a little overly physical, and so it'll be another free kick for Shanley. And they've had a good number of those here in the second half. In the first half, Davies maybe had more calls go their way. In the second half, it's been more Shanley who's kept the game, who's played a little cleaner, kept the mistakes down. And they got to try and take advantage of that, though, because they haven't done a great job of doing so. Almost broke through that time, but couldn't quite get there. Stitch moving in, wanted to pinch, but he had to take a step back and get back on D. So now here's Niemer with it for Davies. And that ball was intended for Adams and was just misplayed.
I'm not sure what Niemer was trying to do with that ball there. I think he was possibly trying to hit it with the outside of his right foot to put some inside bend onto that ball towards Adams. But bit of a mishit there, and he's still a little upset about it. But hey, they still took some time off the clock.
Yeah, looking on the bright side there, Emmett. I think you're right. I think Niemer just, honestly, I think he just pretty much whiffed on it, and that happens even with great players like Matthew Niemer. That's just, the nature of sports, and they recovered nicely from that, as now it'll be a goal kick for Shanley. Cam Hoff to punt it away. The ball from Hoff drops right in front of Stitch. Niemer on top of it, and there's a little no-looker over to Adams. Now Bosch has it, trying to go back to Niemer. Niemer, great job getting around Mickelson. Here comes Niemer now, curling around. Mickelson staying with him, though. Mickelson and Niemer battling it out. Niemer got space, centering feed, and Luke Noah knocks it away. So it's a nice defensive play for Noah, and you can see why they want him back there. Again, Emmett, though, with 12:54 now on this clock, I would really think about moving him up.
I agree, Jed. You're going to need a goal here no matter what. I expect Noah to come forward here in the coming minutes, but we'll still have to see what Coach Christensen decides to do.
Certainly, Emmett. I guess there's a reason we are not coaches, I think Coach Christensen probably has a better understanding of what to do with this lineup. And, for as much as they need this goal, obviously, you can't just totally abandon defense, because Davies has been getting really good pressure here. So it's interesting. You've got some options, but, oh, man, that's going to make it a lot harder out of nowhere, Emmett.
Wow, what a shot from Jonas Adams. Finds himself a sliver of space, and he puts it hard drive on the ground there. Look at that thing just skip. And not sure, maybe Cam Hoff didn't have a great line of vision on that one, as there were a lot of bodies in front of him. Reacted just a little bit late. And how about that goal from Jonas Adams? And he puts his team up 2-0.
And Emmett, yeah, I think you might be right. I think Hoff was screened a little bit that time by his own defenders, and that happens when you're trying to, block off the net. You can sometimes end up blocking your own goalie's view, and that's just the nature of soccer and really any sport with a goaltender in it. You sometimes get in the way. But, yeah, that's a tough break for Shanley. Again, maybe Hoff couldn't quite see it. Defense didn't get a foot on it, but now it's 2-0 for the Eagles. They might have just iced this game here with 11:47 left to go. And like we were talking about, when they scored that goal, we were saying how Luke Noah should probably be up at forward and how it's time to score a goal. Well, there you see why they weren't sure what to do, why they had Noah back on defense, because you never know when Davies is going to strike. It's obviously a lot harder to come back from a 2-0 deficit than a 1-0 deficit, and they were trying to keep it manageable. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out for them, and now they're going to need 2 goals in 11 minutes to keep their hopes alive.
Yeah, Jed, I'm thinking Coach Christensen is wishing he had 2 Luke Noahs out there. Obviously, that's not the case, though, and he needed to decide whether he was going to take a more defensive standpoint or offensive here. And now we do see the change. We see Luke Noah moving forward here on the near sideline, and he moves up to striker for the Deacons.
And again, you can't blame Coach Christensen. Like we said, that's a pretty tough decision. Either way, you were either going to, not get as much done offensively to try and keep it manageable, or you were not going to leave yourself vulnerable to try and score some points. And just had to, it was basically a coin flip, and unfortunately it just doesn't work out for Shanley as Aldous tries to bend that one in on net, but it's wide right.
Yeah, Jed, and what you just said really displays the talent that these Eagles have, that their defense and offense are both so solid that you don't know where to put all of your chips. And the Eagles surely did a great job tonight so far of dominating possession. They've gotten some good scoring opportunities, which they have capitalized on a couple of them, and they've been really solid on that back line.
Certainly, Emmett, as we now have 10:07 left. Eagles trying to advance this ball. Adams works it past Noah. Reinholtz tracks it down. Over to Dietz. Dietz looking to hook up with Mears, but it's cleared back down by Thomas. And now here's Olsen moving in with speed, but Hoff will get there first to scoop it up, and he's going to keep this thing moving as he rolls it forward to Mickelson. Mickelson maybe didn't know it was coming, did a good job sliding to just keep it out of reach of the Eagles. And now Shanley looking to go to work here. Owen Mears is back there, advancing it up to Dietz. Dietz trying to make a step. Trying to get around Thomas, just could not. Thomas kept his legs out, kept a wide base, and kept it away. Adams does a good job, well down, and Luke Noah barrels over a man.
Yeah, it looks like Luke Noah is going to be carded for that one. He's already walking towards his bench. At this point in the game, Luke Noah is just trying to make a play, obviously desperate. It's his last game on this field, possibly the last game that the Deacons will have a chance for making it to state. So just trying to make a desperation move there. Doesn't work out for him, and he goes off with the yellow.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to run over top of that player there. I think the goal was, like you said, he's playing hard, and he's trying to get after that ball, and he just, accidentally kind of runs over the player there. So Noah will go to the bench after the yellow card, like you said, and again, things just tougher here for Shanley with 9:15 to go, 2-0 lead for Davies, and we do have a stoppage.
Looks like the referee is trying to adjust the time on the game clock here.
Yeah, you could see him talking.
9:25 it is.
Yeah, talking towards the press box, talking to the scoreboard operator there. And, yeah, I think you're right, just trying to make sure the proper time was displayed.
Yeah, I believe, not sure if you caught it, Jeb, but the Eagles did take a very quick shot there on the free kick.
Right.
And obviously a little too quick. It seems like the referee hadn't blown his whistle, so here we go again.
Yeah, and that ball directly into the legs of Noah Lance there, so not much amounts from it, although Davies is able to maintain possession here. See if they can do any damage as Odin advances this ball. On the far side, pressure being applied from Adams. And it's the Eagles who come away with it. Anderson sends it upfield. It was played out of bounds that time. Yeah, I was waiting for the whistle. The ball stayed in, but it was played by Olsen, who was standing out. So time continues to run down here as Mickelson will throw in. And Luke Noah will check back in now for Shanley. And that ball being bounced around on the far side there. Olsen giving chase. And then it's cleared down toward Shanley territory. Joe Mickelson will chase after it, trying to keep it in there. Just could not quite get there in time. And boy, Emmett, if we've learned one thing here tonight, it is that Davies is for real. I mean, I don't think anyone needed to be told that given their record and the way they've played, but they have looked very good tonight.
Yeah, Jed, I've looked into the West a little bit as well, and I believe the Eagles definitely are the team to beat in the state. They came up just a little bit short last year, losing to Bismarck High in the state championship. But as you've said before, they got a lot of their seniors back, and I'm sure they got a very strong chance. I'd say they got the best chance in the state of bringing home the state championship this year.
Yeah, Emmett, I'd agree with you, especially considering that they made it to that state championship game last year. Of course, they lost in that game, but definitely the favorite, given that they bring back so much of their core, is now they have a good opportunity here in Shanley territory. And Huldis is going to try to, I thought he was going to try to play that one off of the Deacon defender and out of bounds, but he decides to keep it in play. As that ball was fired towards the Shanley net, didn't quite find its way through, and now Luke Noah has it, looking to get it to Dietz. Dietz is going to give this everything he's got, going after it. Just could not quite get there. Harrison Thome got a step. Thome's going to have to hustle, though, to get back to Noah, and that was good hustle there by Harrison Thome to get back in position because he knew that the Deacons were going to throw that thing in fast. Centering feed by Dietz. Reinholtz chases after it, just out of reach. Oden with the nice little pop-up looking for Nellermo. And Emmett, this is kind of the way Shanley needed to play throughout most of this second half. And obviously that is way easier said than done, but just the way it is.
Yeah, Jed, I believe it's setting in now for the Deacons that they really got to start being more aggressive here. As we see a great tackle there from Owen Mears, getting the ball before he clipped the legs of Nunez, I believe that was. But, yeah, as you said, I believe the Deacons are becoming more desperate here. What a turn there by Kyle Stitch, but they really got to keep putting on the pressure here if they want to have any chance.
And, it's really tough. You can see why they weren't playing this way for the full 40 minutes here in the second half. I mean, first of all, you just can't maintain that pace for a full 40 minutes. But second of all, it's very hard to, kind of take that offense first, defense second mentality and just start kind of bailing out on defense because you know how strong this Davies offense is, and we've seen that tonight. And, Shanley's held them pretty well. It's only 2-0, but that's in large part because they stayed at home and played very responsible defense. And again, it's like we talked about, I mean, you're between a rock and a hard place. You can either risk giving up a bunch more goals to try and tie it up, or you can just kind of hope you get a bounce and try and keep them off the scoreboard. And, I mean, no one wants to try and make that decision because it's really kind of a lose-lose situation. As Noah will try to keep that one in, it skirts along the fence there and goes out of bounds. 5:24 remains in this game. Davies pretty much has this game on ice. Just going to try and avoid any major meltdowns here. With just 5 minutes to go and up 2, they should be able, though, to keep this thing out of reach.
What a pass from Andy Thomas.
Yeah, Emmett, that was something else. Able to find the corner there. Got enough leg, but kept it in bounds. And now it looks like that ball was out of bounds off of Davies. So it doesn't amount to anything, but it was still a real pretty pass.
Last few minutes here, Jed, of Shanley's opportunities to make it in the state tournament. Might be too little too late at this point, but they're surely going to get forward, throw numbers forward, and try to create some chances.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. They're just going to give it everything they've got as the Eagles were looking for a call there, didn't get it. Luke Noah trying to leave that one off to Mears. Good recovery there by Thomas to get in there and break it up. Mears does have it, though, and he's able to get it up towards Dietz. Dietz just a step behind it, though, and it is defended very nicely by Harrison Thome. And there's a guy that has had a big impact.
Yeah, Jed, Dietz has been all over the field tonight. It looks like he was just gassed on that one, trying to make the step there. Just couldn't find enough energy to do it, though. But as you said, Thome has been great for the Eagles. Definitely a rock on that back line. And he's saved his team in a lot of instances tonight, and the ball's loose here.
Great opportunity for Shanley. They got about 3 good whacks at it, but Saar was just a man possessed there chasing after that ball. They did a good job getting bodies out in front, too. And, boy, for as good as the Eagle offense has been, that defense has been pretty darn good as well.
Oh, my goodness. What a chance from Kai Nellermo. tried to put it on net. He did, I believe, but it just happened to come off a Eagle defender. Great job there by Davies to get in front of the net while their goalkeeper was out and about. But a great chance there for Shanley.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, there's not much more that he could do there. Not much more that Nellermo could do. When you've got 4 or 5 bodies there in front, he didn't really have the space to kind of try and sidestep or get around. He just kind of had to launch one, and when you've got that many defenders standing in front of the net, it's just hard to get it through. And again, credit to the Davies defense, because all game long they've gotten numbers back there, and they've made it very difficult for Shanley just to get shots off at all. And now on that far side, the ball volleyed back and forth a bit. Joe Mickelson going to throw this one in real quick. Headed forward. Battle to try and get that ball through. Nellermo sent a man down, and he'll get whistled for that. Start walking back the other way as Davies will get a free kick. So, Emma, I think technically if South were to lose the 2 games they had remaining coming into tonight, and Shanley were to win 1, I believe Shanley could have made it through.
No, Jed, I believe Shanley's 3 points behind the Bruins.
So it only would have tied them then, I think.
Yes,
yeah.
And when you look at the deciding factor, which is the head-to-head, both teams won one game off of each other, so then it goes to goal differential. And unfortunately for the Deacons, the Bruins did score more goals than the Deacons in those matchups. So they needed a win here tonight, and it's looking like they might end up a little bit short here.
Okay. Well, thank you, Emmett, for the clarification. You did your research for this one.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. Okay, thank you for the clarification. So that is unfortunate. Then this was for sure the must-win for Shanley. And, we knew that South, even, they're playing North, too, who, North has not won a game yet this season, and so that would have been a pretty tall order as well. But Shanley knew they had to come in here tonight. They knew they had to beat Davies, and it's looking like they won't get that done here. But the one thing you can't say they didn't try. I mean, they certainly gave it everything they had. We saw that. The shot rolling around right in front. No good shot fired through, and the Shanley defense stands tall. Coming in that time was not Cone, that was
Yep, as we're saying, the odd really is fine. Great seniors last year that definitely affected their team, but they did do a great job tonight of giving their all. They really showed that they're a team that will hustle until the end, and the Deacons have some positive things to take from this moving forward into the next game, as well as seasons to come after this one.
right, and we knew it'd be a rebuilding year for the Deacons this season. The whole state kind of knew that they were a little down after losing a lot of seniors, like you said, and they made a good run to try and get into state. Unfortunately, going to come up just a little bit short here. But again, Davies looking like the team to beat as they're about to knock off Shanley 2-0 at home. Or on the road for Davies, I should say, about to knock off Shanley in their home. Under 10 seconds left. That ball rolling around on the outside. Final countdown here. The horn sounds, and that does it for this game. A 2-0 win for Fargo Davies. Shanley, unfortunately, falling short of the state tournament as they fall short in this game. Davies continuing to look like the top dog in the state, Emmett.
Yeah, Jed, looking at both of these teams, Davies, I believe they really showed why they are the team to beat in the state this year. They played amazing defense, amazing offense. They scored when they needed to, defended when they needed to, and they really proved their dominance tonight. And for the Deacons, obviously not the result they wanted. They won't be able to make it to state this year, but still, as you said, everybody knew it was a rebuilding year for the Deacons. They did very well to stay competitive here in this EDC after several rough stretches, but looking like they came up just a little bit short. But the Deacons do have some good things to look forward to for next year as well as seasons after that.
Absolutely. So some closing thoughts before we go here. Again, senior night, so we want to give a shout out to Luke Noah, Joe Mickelson, Noah Lance, Kai Nellermo, and Cam Hoff. There's some seniors who have had some very long, some of them very long, Noah Lance, some others not so long, but they all had nice careers for Shanley, and so just want to tip the cap to them. They do have another game against Cheyenne before the year ends, so if anyone can make it to that, anyone listening, try and make it out to that, support this team. And lastly, on a personal note, just want to say thank you to this team and this program. It's been a lot of fun calling these games the last 3-4 years here. And yeah, I just want to say thanks to soccer fans who've tuned in to this team out there, as this is our last soccer broadcast of the year, so my last soccer broadcast of the career. And yeah, Emmett, also want to thank you for a fun season here.
Well, Jed, I just want to extend a big thank you to you as well. You've done a lot for Shanley TV as well as the Deacons as a whole over your 4 years in broadcasting. It's been a pleasure to listen in to some great broadcasting performances, and you'll surely be missed next year.
Thanks a lot, Emmett. Well, end of the season for these guys in our broadcasting season for soccer. We got plenty more coming up. Got some volleyball games left and one more football game left in this fall sports season, so watch out for those coming up here over the next few weeks. For tonight, though, for Emmett Kenny and for our entire crew, I'm Jed Thomas. Your final score from Fargo: Shanley Deacons 0, Fargo Davies Eagles 2. To watch the archived version of this entire game and our other broadcasts, go to ShanleyTV.com. The proceeding has been a presentation of Shanley TV.